There are many consumers who like to know about the products they intend to buy and talk one-on-one with their suppliers or farmers before making a purchase decision. You can utilize this opportunity to market your products to bigger audiences and drum up businesses and sales. Today on Marketplace Extra, we shall be discussing the topic, agricultural marketing in Nigeria, best tips for farmers. My guest is Ademola Oyetunji, an Agric expert. It's so nice to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Now, agriculture is one of the major sectors of most economies in the world, including Nigeria. It is associated with the processes of planting and harvesting of crops, rearing of livestock, animal husbandry, just name it. I want my guest to tell us more about agriculture in Nigeria, both crop and livestock. Where are we right now? Let's not talk about the past if we can. But of course, if you want to talk about, because you cannot talk about the future or have a direction for the future without a look at the past. It's up to you.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you're talking about history. That's the definition of history in short while. The record of past and the present in an attempt to modify the future. That's history. And there's no way we want to talk about agriculture today of the future without a bit of mentioning the past. Agriculture in Nigeria of the past gained us giant of Africa of the old. But where are we now? Are we still giants? No, because we lost focus along the line. The time of oil discovery makes us lose focus in that, Before oil discovery in Nigeria, Nigeria maintained giant of Africa. Not in mouth, not by mouth making the NTA of the first television station in the whole of Africa. That was done through the money from agriculture, from proceeds of agriculture. Cocoa House is there. There are a lot of laudable projects still that we can still physically point at that we get done as a nation.
Through agriculture.
Through agriculture. In the west we have our cocoa. In the north we have the pyramid of the granite pyramid. Even in the southeast, all of us we are competing agricultural wise, and everyone is striving, and we are making. But when we discover oil, we lose. The leaders, not me anyway. But here we are today that we are talking of food insecurity. So then, if I read it. And I've heard it from the older ones that in their secondary school days, they are eating good food, as in good from in the same Nigeria, from the agricultural activities of the nation, well focused and But where are we now? We are food insecure. We have malnutrition in some places, and we are talking about future. Well, we can talk about present. Let's talk about the present, because our present actions will determine what we get next. The actions of the then leader leads us to giant of Africa, but we could not sustain it when we discover oil. So, and agriculture is something that is so important. I said it is life. Agric is life. And God that created all of us, even created a garden for man before creation of man. For you to know how important this sector is. So, because we eat Agric, we live in Agric. As a matter of fact, we wear Agric. We use Agric to write. That's why I say in my own time, I said we hit Agric. We write. Your paper is Agric. It's from timber and bamboo. Your paper that you used to write in the office. Your clothes, madam, is cotton. That's Agric. The primary production is Agric. Is cotton.
Yes.
So this furniture we are using now, the primary production is agriculture. So the furniture that you use in the house roofing and all this is agriculture. So it's a sector that should not be toyed with. But here in Nigeria, we'll get there.
Yeah, no, I understand your passion. Talking about eating well while in school. I remember when I was in school, you could get your rice, your beans, and your meat for 2 naira 50 kobo. And when you decide to go to a very posh eatery, I don't want to call the name now, it was a very popular posh eatery inside the campus, and you want pounded yam with 2 pieces of goat meat, you pay 8 naira. And when you tell your friends that you ate 8 naira as your meal, you are the big girl and the big boy. 8 naira, not even up to 10 naira for pounded yam, egusi soup, with good service, good atmosphere, clean, but that is not the result now that we're facing now. When you tell the children, it's like you're speaking French, in quote. Now, with the proliferation of agric marketplaces, selling agricultural products just got a lot easier. Many agric marketplaces in Nigeria are tailored for farmers. Now, I want to ask my guests, how has agriculture evolved in the present time to expand the marketing space, in your opinion?
Well, evolving of agriculture, I would say...
Agricultural markets.
Agricultural markets. Well, it's evolving because of different platforms that we have now to showcase our produce and markets. But we are marketing. You know, Nigeria, we like to market goods. We like to sell goods. But the production of that items, of the goods, is a challenge to me. And to where many Nigerians, because you see a lot of big shops today opening here and there, but go and find out what they sell in those shops, how they're coming about it. The majority of them are, you know, brought into this country. Do you know that our meats, majority of our meats are just dumping? They're just dumping, and we are not producing enough as a nation. As a country, we are not producing enough that we say the market is evolving. Yes, I agree with you, because we have different platforms now to sell. As a matter of fact, on your phone, your WhatsApp, you can sell your produce. You know, some people don't even have any farm, but they are marketing produce. Marketing agric. Yeah, produce. It's not out of place. It's creating job. It's not out of place. We call it agric marketing. You can so choose that, okay, I don't want to do anything than just to be marketing, because still some farmers still find it difficult to get their farm produce sales. So they don't have the technical know-how of selling on social media. So some people can take that as business. So you take from those, you know, the farmers and market to them, and so you make a living from there. It's not out of place. So platforms of selling, a couple of merchants are coming up as well to have their online stores. But what I'm telling those merchants, of course, those that are talking to me, as a matter of fact, I am doing some service for some, you know, as you need to know, they're bankers. So, but they're into that line now. They want to sell in online. They have their store. I'm telling them, you need to grow what you're selling. Don't just depend on, you know, on the whoever that is bringing it, because you need to know even the source of what you're selling. You need to, so you can even analyze, you know, that this makes up this. This particular crop that they are selling. So that's a kind of thing that I'm actually looking towards, and it's a matter of time we'll get there. But if marketing of agri-produce is evolving by this because of using of social media, of course, on social media, the rest of, you know, it's a good thing. So, but what about the local farmer that doesn't have a phone or have data? How do they get their produce to the market on time? Yes, to get to the final consumer? I have said that we are still having some farmers who are finding it difficult to sell after producing, after a lot of energy, after a lot of efforts. At the end of produce, they are looking for markets. There's still gap in that regard. As a matter of fact, as I speak, in some far north, there are still a couple of farmers who have their produce store. Now they're looking for markets. I have to raise somebody to go to far north to go and aggregate maize, because we have millions of metric tons required, you know, by some, you know, big manufacturing company. So, but they don't know those people. But we have to bring the people gap. Don't know how to get to them. So, and peradventure, they are not producing the quantum of what they want as a, you know, base, but we can aggregate, and that's actually what we are doing. As a matter of fact, one of the agency of government is trying to bridge that gap now. I was called upon not quite long that can we create an avenue where these people, we aggregate what they have, put it to a platform whereby those people, you know, so we are working on that anyway, so that the farmer will get benefit for their labor in a quick time, because time value of money matters, you know. If they produce now and they sell immediately, so you're able to use that to even produce more. And of course, economic value chain of it, so the family will be okay. And all. So there's a gap. So in bridging that gap, I'm saying to young person there who is using the data just to watch what is not meaningful. You can locate farmer in your community or in your town that you hail from. By helping yourself, you are helping that farmer, because you are helping the farmer. You are helping yourself. You are creating employment for yourself.
Helping the nation at large.
Helping the nation, nation at large. Because of course, if people produce and they get benefit for because they'll be happy to do more, so they will create more. So our GDP in one way will increase.
Will increase.
So
that is laudable. If you're just joining us, this is Micah Plus Extra. It means you've missed the first half of our discussion as we go on a short break. But when we return, we shall be concluding the discussion right here. So stick with us to enjoy the best. We'll be right back. The only thing that is constant in life is change. So do not question the past, but ride with me on this new road to endless possibilities. This is a new Micah Plus, the marketplace of endless discussions on topical issues, local and international. We are changing with the times and being in touch with our environment and happenings all around the world. Join the conversation to share greatness with me. Climate change is not a topic that can be discussed for in a day. I am Anire Binitie. This is Micah Plus. Let me remind you that you can watch this news and other segments of the show by signing up and subscribing to our web and YouTube channel, respectively. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Micah Plus Extra as we conclude on our discussion today in the studio, and my guest is still here. Now, one thing common to every farmer and farm business owners is the buying and selling of farm products. Selling involves supplying a specified amount of farm produce to a market at a certain price, while buying, on the other hand, entails demanding an estimated quantity of farm produce at a given price. Nevertheless, without an effective distribution of farm product, it is almost impossible to make profit from sales. I want my guest to give us some tips for farmers. Fine, he has said that there is a gap, but he hasn't told us how to bridge the gap, and that is why he is here. Well, give us some tips to bridge the gap for farmers to sell their produce in Nigeria, in our locality.
The thing is, there are a couple of things that need to be done. Farmer needs to farm for the market. And I think I said that before. You need to know the market you want to sell for, too. If you know your market, you'll be able to plant for your market. That's one thing. The reason why I mentioned that is this. Some farmer farm let me take for example, cassava. Some variety of of cassava is not acceptable by some processors. Even if they locate the processor, what they farm is not needed by the processor. At the end of the day, the farmer is going to be losing. Because there are different species. And what processor A is needing in that same cassava is different from what processor B is needing. Take for example, a processor that is needing starch content is different from the processor that is needing fiber. Fiber is used for gari. The starch content is used for ethanol and the rest of it. So if you are now cropping a cassava that is not high in starch content and you are targeting that sector, that processor, you are going to be missing it. That's a big loss. It's a big loss at the end of the day. So they will not buy right because they will buy less because what they need in your cassava is not present. So that's the challenge. So I do tell farmers, don't just plant for your markets. That's one. Two, you said, as you mentioned, way to solve the problem. Number two thing is you need to farmers and processor. That is what I said, one agency of the government is trying to bridge that gap. I haven't known that there's a gap. Some people have to bridge that gap. Of course, we are trying to work on that. So if agency of government realize that, and farmer, of course, they know that they cannot get to the processor, because majority of the processor, they don't want 5 tons, 2 tons, 3 tons. So they want it aggregated, so they can, they can meet up their production line. So that's another thing that we have to. We are out here, so we have been saying that. Right? So that's another thing. So we need to bridge that gap. Farmer, identify your market and allow some people to, even CBN, of course, they also have, aggregator for some, when he started, which I'm fortunate to be one of. So, but when they, along the line, they miss it. So at the end of the day, the project is not, actually fulfilling.
Now, you did say that before farmers go into farming, they need to know their market. And you also mentioned the fact that there is a gap. Like you said, you had to create a market for those. You sent people to the north who have corn. You got information that there are people who have maize, but they do not know how to get it to the processors. Now, how can farmers get this information? How can the local farmer get this information? Before they begin to plant, what advice do you have for them to go about sourcing for those who need their produce before they begin to plant?
If what the farmer needs to do, right, is align with processor or aggregators, as the case may be.
How do they get them? How the illiterate farmer in the village?
That's
how do they get this information?
I understand that. We understand that. So, and that's why we have to be close to the farmers.
Okay.
Of course, we are close to the farmer. What I'm actually
what can government do to
government
create that awareness?
I've mentioned it
for the local
yes,
farmer.
I mentioned that in my opening remark, that an agency I don't want to mention. So because they don't pay for, So I was contacted recently to bridge that gap, such a way that we can create a platform. Since I have representative actually nationwide.
How would farmers? How do they get this information?
No, farmer might not.
Okay.
Might not, but because myself and my people, we know those requests from each of these manufacturers. So bridging that gap, we have to be in the gap between the manufacturers and the farmers. As a matter of fact, we are achieving some level of result. And we are telling them before the crop, you need to crop this to get this. Because if you are buying from you, if you are going to bridge the gap or your challenge, if you are going to be selling rightly, you have to do this. If you are cropping maize, you have to do this species. If you are cropping cassava, you have to do this species.
So farmers need to know how to crop, how to cross crop, so that they can get the best results for their produce.
As a matter of fact, it's not, the cross crop, that is cross planting, is another thing entirely.
Okay.
That's cross planting in some area might not work, but in some level. But we are going commercially. Cross planting is not advisable, because if you want to use mechanized equipment to harvest, you might be affecting the other one that you are cross planting. So in some level, it's not actually advised. So for me, the farmers needs to work with, being our agricultural extensions worker in each of the local government are actually effective as they ought to. This is what they're supposed to be doing. They will be liaising with the big organizations. And since they are not doing that, we are putting ourselves for that. And even the agency that is saddled with the responsibility of raw material in Nigeria has said, oh, okay, and we are in talk. Just because the manufacturer depend on this raw material for their business to run. As a matter of fact, a factory shut down last year because they could not get cassava. And cassava is actually within the vicinity. But the problem is the cassava in question is not meeting their requirements. So
she's shut down?
Yeah, the factory shut down. I don't want to mention name.
Yes.
So there are issues like that. So we don't want that, because as they shut down, some people will not collect salary. And they have the base of that.
And they are all back into the market space.
The market space.
Interesting. Now, Nigerian farmers, especially the peasant ones, face a lot of challenges in selling their products profitably. Many producers have been exploited on a daily basis by the wholesalers and agricultural agents. They need secrets to sell at optimum. Go out and find it. The secrets are there. As a farmer, go out and find the secrets that will improve your productivity at the end of the day. Go out and find secrets that will enable you to sell at optimum to get back all that you've put into production. I want to thank my guest for honoring my invite, and I hope to see you again and again on the show. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for
having me. And to you watching from the other side of the screen, don't go anywhere as the show continues in a moment. I'll be right back.